Have you ever, like, actually stopped to think about what happens when you order a $30 takeout meal on a Friday night?
Oh, most people definitely don't.
Right, because you just tap a few buttons on your phone, you wait a bit, and then boom, your favorite pad thai or, I don't know, pepperoni pizza just magically appears at your doorstep.
Exactly. It feels like this ultimate frictionless convenience.
Yeah, but behind that glass screen, there is a fierce, almost invisible financial battle going on. Do you realize that the local restaurant you just ordered from might be losing nearly $10 of that $30 meal to completely invisible fees?
It is a staggering amount of capital. I mean, we're talking about money leaving the local economy every single day.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and for a long time, it seemed like just, the inevitable price of doing business in the digital age. Local restaurants felt they had absolutely no choice but to pay these massive tolls to a few giant aggregators.
Just to reach customers who are sitting, literally, in their own neighborhoods.
Right. But the technology landscape is fundamentally shifting now, and that monopoly on convenience, it's really starting to crack.
Which brings us to our mission for today's deep dive. We are looking at a massive new strategy unfolding right now in the food delivery industry.
That is a fascinating shift to watch.
It really is. We are going to decode the underlying economics of delivery apps, look at the hidden data wars going on behind the scenes, and explore how local restaurants are actually fighting back by launching their own zero-commission technology.
And they're doing it surprisingly fast, too. We are talking about a shift from a highly centralized Model 1 held by just a few Silicon Valley giants to a much more decentralized local ecosystem.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with why this pushback is happening in the first place, and it really comes down to a true crisis for thin margins.
Absolutely. The baseline economics of running a restaurant are notoriously difficult.
Yeah, because the financial drain that third-party apps place on local businesses is just brutal. We are talking about the major platforms charging anywhere from, 15 to 30% per order?
15 to 30%, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is astronomical, especially when you consider that the hospitality industry operates on incredibly thin profit margins to begin with, often just in the single digits.
Right, because you've got food costs.
Food, labor, commercial rent, utilities, insurance, I mean, the list goes on. So taking a 30% cut right off the top line, that often means the restaurant is actually losing money on that order.
Losing money to serve you. Just to put that math in perspective for you, imagine a local diner doing $10,000 a month in sales, specifically through a major third-party app.
Yeah.
Out of that 10 grand, they're losing up to $3,000 in commissions alone.
$3,000 a month, that's $36,000 a year just for the privilege of being listed on a screen and having a driver dispatched.
Wow.
And when you extrapolate that across like a higher volume of sales or a really busy weekend, you are looking at critical revenue that is just hemorrhaging out of the business.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
No, it's an existential threat for owners who are just trying to keep the lights on.
I mean, relying on third-party apps is like renting a storefront in a mall where the landlord doesn't just take a third of your sales, but also puts a blindfold on you so you can't see who your customers are.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. What's fascinating here is that the cost isn't just financial. It is informational.
Right, the data.
Exactly. In the modern economy, information is often way more valuable than the immediate sale. When a restaurant uses a third-party aggregator, the platform owns everything.
Everything.
They own the customer data, the branding, the interaction, and ultimately the loyalty. The customer stays loyal to the platform, not the local business actually cooking the food.
Because, I mean, if I order a burger on a major app, I'm interacting with their interface, their corporate colors, their customer service. The restaurant is just like reduced to being a nameless assembly line for a tech giant.
Yes. And consider the marketing implications of that. The restaurant has zero access to the customer's email or their ordering habits.
So they're flying blind.
Completely blind. If it's a slow, rainy Tuesday, the restaurant can't just send out a targeted push notification offering a discount to their best customers.
Because they don't even know who their best customers are.
Right. Their pricing is dictated by the platform's constraints, and worse, they are literally competing with 20 other restaurants on the exact same screen.
Oh, like you search pizza and you see everyone else's deals right next to yours.
Exactly. So by launching their own app, the restaurant regains full sovereignty. They keep 100% of their profits, but more importantly, they capture the data.
So they can run their own loyalty campaigns.
Yes, set prices freely, and when the user opens that app, there are no competitors staring back at them.
It is a total paradigm shift. But okay, this brings up a huge logistical hurdle for me. Because sure, keeping your data and your money sounds fantastic in a boardroom,
Sure.
but how does a local non-tech, business-like, family-run sushi place actually pull that off?
Yeah.
I mean, a custom mobile app takes months of coding, right? You need software engineers, beta testing, server architecture.
That's the traditional way, yes.
Well, the source material says you can launch a functional delivery app in 1 to 2 weeks. And I have to play the skeptic here. 1 to 2 weeks. Is this just a glorified PDF menu that someone slaps on a mobile browser?
I get that. That skepticism is entirely warranted, especially if you picture app development, the old way coding from scratch, line by line.
Right.
But the software industry has evolved. This rapid 7-day turnaround is actually possible through ready-made white label solutions.
White label?
Yeah, this is where specialized tech companies like Enatega, for example, have completely changed the game for local businesses.
Okay, white label, meaning the core engine of the technology is already built, and they just paint it with the restaurant's colors and logo.
Essentially, yeah.
I have to push back again, though. White label usually implies something clunky, generic, and prone to breaking. How does a prepackaged solution handle the sheer complexity of, like, a Friday night dinner rush?
It handles it because it isn't just a simple reskinned menu. It's a highly robust, modular ecosystem. The developers behind these platforms spend years building the core architecture so it functions identically to the giant tech monopolies.
So it's not just a basic website.
Not at all. When a business adopts a system like this, they aren't getting one app. They are deploying an all-in-one app suite.
What does that include?
It's actually 3 distinct, fully customizable applications talking to each other in real time, governed by a central admin dashboard.
Wait, 3 separate apps running simultaneously?
Yes. You have the customer app, which handles the browsing, the smart search, and the secure checkout.
Okay, that's what I have on my phone.
Right. Then you have the restaurant app, which sits on a tablet in the kitchen, receiving orders, managing prep times, and alerting the staff.
Makes sense.
And finally, you have the rider app, which is what the delivery drivers use for GPS routing and proof of delivery. All 3 nodes are constantly syncing through a centralized backend that the business owner controls.
That is wild. And all of that infrastructure comes with 0 commission fees on the orders.
0%. The software provider usually charges a flat licensing or subscription fee, but the restaurant keeps 100% of the actual food sales.
And the features aren't stripped down either. Looking at the source, we're talking about smart search with intelligent filters, real-time multi-vendor order tracking, so the customer knows if their food is in the kitchen or in the car.
Yep, full visibility.
Promo code capabilities, personalized offers, and even multi-language support so users can toggle the app to their native language.
Which is a crucial feature for deep market penetration, especially in diverse urban areas. Take the case of a company called Snap Delivered.
Oh, right, from the case study.
Yeah, they provide a perfect real-world stress test for this white label approach. They were trying to enter a market that was already saturated by the established giant players like Uber Eats and DoorDash.
Entering a market against multi-billion-dollar tech giants requires serious firepower. You can't just rely on goodwill to win over customers.
Exactly. Snap Delivered's entire value proposition was offering lower delivery fees and a more equitable, transparent model for their restaurant partners.
Which is a great pitch.
It is, but none of that matters if the app crashes when someone tries to order a sandwich. They needed a platform that could handle high traffic spikes, offer a frictionless user experience, and integrate advanced features like real-time tracking and multi-language support from day one.
And they needed it fast, I assume.
Rapidly deployed.
Because they didn't have 2 years and $10 million to sit in a Silicon Valley development lab.
Right. So they utilized a highly customizable white label solution. By tailoring the smart search, the order tracking algorithms, and the promotional engines to their specific market, they deployed a product that felt entirely bespoke.
And did it work?
The results were immediate. The user-friendly interface drove high customer attention, and because the restaurants weren't being bled dry by commissions, they heavily promoted the app themselves, leading to a massive increase in local order volumes.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because understanding how a white label solution works made me wonder about the alternative.
Building it yourself.
Exactly. What if a regional restaurant group decides they don't want an out-of-the-box system? What if they say, no, we want to own our intellectual property completely, and we want to build a bespoke app from scratch? What is the actual blueprint and cost for doing that today?
It is a massive undertaking. You aren't just hiring a computer guy to build a website. You are temporarily spinning up an entire tech company.
Yeah, the required team list from the text is intense. You need a front-end developer, a back-end developer, a UI/UX designer,
And a project manager, someone for quality assurance or QA, and a research analyst.
and skipping even one of those roles invites disaster, right?
Oh, a total disaster.
Yeah.
The research analyst, for instance, maps out the competitor landscape and target audience behaviors long before any code is written.
You have to know what you're building.
Right. And the UI/UX designer ensures the customer doesn't get frustrated trying to, modify an order.
Nobody wants to struggle just to remove onions from a burger.
Exactly. And quality assurance is perhaps the most critical. QA is stress testing the app under simulated heavy loads to hunt down bugs so the platform doesn't freeze when it finally goes live on the App Store.
And assembling that brain trust adds up incredibly fast. The economics of ground-up development are steep. For a quote-unquote small app, which is defined as having just basic features like user profiles, search, and ratings, you're looking at $20,000 to $50,000.
And that is just the floor, just to get started.
Right. If you want a medium app, which adds the crucial features like in-app chat, push notifications, real-time order tracking, and dynamic deals, the cost jumps to anywhere from $50,000 to $120,000.
It scales up quickly.
And a complex app with deep order history analytics, group ordering functionalities, and complex driver routing. That is going to run a business $120,000 to $180,000.
It's a huge investment. Plus, building the app is only the initial capital expenditure.
Wait, there's more?
Oh, yeah. Maintaining a custom food delivery ecosystem, paying for cloud server space, pushing security updates, fixing operating system compatibility issues costs an additional $10,000 to $50,000 annually, depending on the volume of traffic.
Wow. Which brings up a fascinating dynamic regarding the geographic arbitrage of coding. If you are building this from scratch, where your development team is physically located, dramatically dictates your final budget.
Absolutely. The hourly rates for software engineers vary wildly across the globe.
Yeah, it's a huge range. If you are hiring a senior iOS or Android developer in Australia, you're looking at $90 to $150 an hour. In the USA, it averages $70 to $120 an hour.
But then you look at Europe and it drops to $60 to $100.
And the Middle East is $50 to $80.
Right. And in Asia, the hourly rate can be anywhere from $20 to $50.
So a massive difference in upfront costs.
Huge. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes clear why these decisions are about so much more than just finding the cheapest hourly rate. It is about the technology stack itself.
The tech stack. Let's break that down.
Sure. The tech stack is the foundation of your digital building, and it directly dictates the app's scalability, its speed, and its overall lifespan.
So it's basically the combination of programming languages and frameworks used to build both the visible parts and the hidden parts of the app. It's essentially the front-of-house dining room versus the back-of-house kitchen.
That's a perfect analogy. The front end is the dining room. It has to look beautiful, be intuitive, and run smoothly.
So you don't trip over the tables.
Exactly. For this, developers use languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and advanced frameworks like React.js or Angular.js.
Okay, and the back end?
The backend is the kitchen. It doesn't need to look pretty. It needs to process thousands of complex requests simultaneously without crashing or burning down.
Heavy lifting.
Yeah. For the backend, developers rely on heavy-duty languages like Node.js, Python, Ruby on Rails, and frameworks like Django or Express.js.
And choosing the right stack depends entirely on the project scope, the team's expertise, and the required scalability.
Yep.
Because if a business owner just chases the lowest hourly rate in Asia without ensuring the team has deep expertise in, say, Node.js for handling massive concurrent users, they are building a house of cards.
They really are.
They end up with an app that totally collapses when 500 people try to order hot wings simultaneously on Super Bowl Sunday.
Which is exactly why the QA testing we mentioned earlier is so vital. A cheap initial build often results in massive long-term maintenance costs because you're constantly patching a leaky roof.
And that leads perfectly into the final piece of this puzzle. Because whether a restaurant spends $20,000 on a basic app or $180,000 on a highly complex bespoke build, the technology is ultimately judged by the end user.
The person eating the food.
Right. And that user is sitting on their couch, hungry, staring at their phone. How does the app actually manage the messy physical reality of getting a hot meal from a busy kitchen to a front door?
This raises an important question because the sleek user interface is just the tip of the iceberg. The real magic, like the true intellectual property of these platforms, happens in the background logistics.
Stuff we never see.
Exactly. The delivery algorithm rests on three highly complex pillars.
Let's talk about those invisible mechanics.
First, the algorithm has to optimize order processing by instantly matching user requests with nearby restaurants.
So finding the closest burger place.
Right, it's scanning geographic proximity, yes, but it also has to check if that specific restaurant has paused incoming orders because their kitchen is overwhelmed.
Oh, that makes sense. You don't want to send orders to a kitchen that's already an hour behind.
Exactly. Second, the algorithm has to estimate the exact delivery time. And think about your own experience. When the app says your food is 7 minutes away for half an hour, it's incredibly frustrating.
It's the worst.
So that estimation can't just be a static guess. It has to constantly recalculate based on variable kitchen prep times.
Right, because a salad takes 3 minutes to prep, but a well-done steak takes 20. The algorithm actually has to know the difference.
It does. And then comes the third, and arguably most difficult pillar, routing the drivers efficiently. The system has to calculate real-time traffic data, weather conditions, and driver availability.
It's basically a real-time air traffic control system, but for cheeseburgers and pad thai.
Actually, it goes even deeper than air traffic control, because airplanes don't get cold if they have to circle the runway for an extra 10 minutes.
Food does. That's a great point.
The algorithm isn't just solving a standard point A to point B map. It is solving a dynamic traveling salesman problem with a ticking temperature clock.
That sounds like a nightmare to code.
It is. It has to figure out the fastest route while potentially batching a second order from a nearby restaurant, all without letting the first order get soggy.
That level of mathematical orchestration is mind-boggling when you realize it's happening millions of times a day.
Truly.
And the user base expecting this seamless experience is incredibly broad. These apps aren't just for tech-savvy young adults anymore.
Not at all.
Looking at the data, they are essential tools for busy professionals working late, college students, chaotic families needing a quick dinner solution, and even highly specific health-conscious customers searching for vegan or gluten-free filters.
And attracting those diverse demographics requires deep trust in the platform. You can have the most brilliant routing algorithm in the world, but if a customer's order is wrong and they can't reach anyone to fix it, they will delete the app.
Just immediately uninstall it.
Right. That is why features like 24/7 in-app customer support chat are non-negotiable. Customers, writers, and restaurants all need to be able to instantly communicate to resolve friction.
So what does this all mean? When we step back and look at the entire machinery we've unpacked today, it becomes incredibly clear that a modern delivery app is so much more than a digital menu.
It really is.
It is a highly sophisticated predictive matchmaking engine. It is constantly balancing local traffic patterns, variable kitchen preparation times, and independent driver availability, all while processing secure payments and safely managing vast amounts of consumer data.
And for a very long time, the barrier to entry for that level of logistical sophistication was simply too high for independent Main Street businesses.
They just couldn't afford it.
No, they had to surrender their data and pay those punishing 15 to 30% commissions because they obviously couldn't afford a $180,000 custom software development cycle.
But that is the core takeaway of our deep dive. The balance of power is shifting. The technology to run a complex city-wide logistics network is no longer hoarded by a few giants in Silicon Valley.
Exactly.
Through rapid white label solutions, a local family-run business can deploy a comprehensive 3-app ecosystem with real-time algorithmic tracking in just 7 days, paying 0 commissions on their sales.
They are taking back their profit margins, and more importantly, they are taking back their direct relationships with their community.
Which is huge.
And it leaves us with a rather provocative thought to consider moving forward.
Cool, let's hear it.
If local restaurants can reclaim their digital storefronts, orchestrate their own logistics, and liberate their customer data from tech monopolies so quickly and affordably, what other Main Street industries might be next to declare their digital independence?
Wow. That is a fascinating question to ponder, because once the technology is democratized, the entire landscape changes.
It absolutely does.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning,
Keep questioning the hidden systems operating around you, and the next time you order that $30 takeout meal, think about where that invisible $10 fee is actually going. And more importantly, think about whether your favorite local restaurant might just be quietly plotting their own 7-day tech rebellion.